Hi y'all, bonjour, hola, my name is Trish. If you're new on this channel, welcome. We are so glad to have you here. So I've been getting a lot of requests on how I create my flyer templates. So I decided to go ahead and show you guys how I quickly put together thumbnails from my flyers. So without much ado, let's get started. So to start off, you need to know the thumbnail size, and if this is for YouTube have a standard thumbnail that you can use. So if you go to new and you want to create a canvas size for this, it is basically a 1920 by 1080. And once you click on it, it sets it in your preset detail. But I like to set my resolution at 300, and then you can go ahead and click on create. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of options that you can use. So for the first one, we're going to go to my folder and I'm going to drag this into my working file. So what you want to make sure is that your image comes in and set it in the center. And once you have it in the center, you want to make a copy. So make sure your layer is selected and press Command J to make a duplicate. Now we want to blur out the background. So to do that, click on the bottom layer and you want to pick up your text tool. You want to scale it. Now my layer has already been activated, so I can easily scale it. But if your transform is not activated, make sure that you have your auto select or your show transform checked. And this is if you're on a newer version. But if you are on an older version, just press Command T and it will activate it for you. So once your layer has been selected, we want to go ahead and scale it. We want to make this bigger. And so we have something like this. So you want to go to filter and you want to choose blur, Gaussian blur. Now you have the option of playing with your blur radius. So as you can see, I'm going to set it to something like this. So you can sort of still see that there is a similar image in the background, but the focal point is in the center. I'm going to go ahead to click OK. So you can go ahead and maybe reposition your image in the background so that you can still see it, but the image on top is what shows. Now, if you want to take it a step further, you can add a drop shadow around the borders for your main image, so it sort of sets it off. So you can double click on that image, which is the top, add a drop shadow, click on this to make sure that your drop shadow is showing something like that, and you can see that I have that detail. If you want your shadow to spread more, you can increase that. So you have this look. I'm gonna click OK. So you basically have that 3D effect, and this is if you want it, but if you don't, you can just keep it like this. So you can have it like this, or I'm just going to go ahead and redo, and then, or you can have it this way, but it's all preference. So the next one that I want to show you, I'm going to go to the next tab and we're going to go to my folder. We're going to drag this image in. So we're going to go ahead to make a copy. Command J, we're going to make one copy and we're going to click on the bottom one, and we are going to use our right bracket to basically pull it out. And I'm going to go ahead and scale it. And I'm going to set it somewhere here. You can make it a little bit bigger, but you want to set it inside like that. I'm going to scale it like this. And you want to blur this out a little bit. So you go back to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and we want to add the same thing, but this time we want it to pop just a little bit more. So we have something like this. I'm going to click OK. Now you want to add almost like a shadow effect to that one, almost as though it's suspending. So you want to click on your bottom image and you want to add a new layer in the middle. Now you want to pick up your brush tool and you want to go ahead and choose a soft brush. You want to make sure your hardness is at 0, and you want to increase your brush head to something like that. And now you want to come out of this. We want to go ahead and increase our brush head. So with your right bracket, just increase it like this. And you want to just make a click, a dab. You want to pick your move tool and you want to hold down shift, and we are just going to squash this little dot that we've created, and we're going to move that and set that below this image right here. You want to make sure that you hold down shift and then you bring this in and bring that in as well, and you want to center this right there like that. So once you have this set, you want to basically make a copy, select your image and also select your shadow. You want to make a copy. So Command J, make a duplicate and move that copy onto the opposite side. So we have something like this and it basically aligns. I'm going to double click to accept. Now you want to make sure that you set this in the right place. And that is basically it when it comes to creating this thumbnail. So you have this option and you have that option. So the last technique I'm going to show you is how to create a thumbnail for a wedding invitation card. So we're going to go back to our folder and I'm going to go ahead and drag in this image that I created about 4 months ago, which was a tutorial, and I will make sure I put a link to this as well in case you're interested. Now, we want to add a little bit more interest to this wedding invitation card. So I'm going to go back to my folder, and I have 2 images that I found online, which I like. So I'm going to drag it in. And what I'm going to do is that I want to set this one on this side, and I'm going to set this on that side. And I'm going to go ahead and move my layer from the bottom, and I'm going to pull it up. So this is the wedding image that I want to sort of infuse onto these images. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off first, and I want to get rid of all of this portion of this image. I don't need it. So I'm going to pick my eraser and I'm going to click on that image and click OK. I'm going to reduce my brush head by clicking on my left bracket, and I'm just going to go ahead and basically erase this section like that. And I'm going to reduce my brush head so it doesn't go beyond and erase anything else that I don't want. So now that I have this, I want to make sure I blend in both images so it works. So now that I have this, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my image. Now, even on the bottom, if you feel that a little bit more is showing, what you can do is that click on your image, use your marquee tool, make a little selection, right click, make a copy, use your move tool and move that over like that. And once you set this in place, it basically hides everything. So it acts as though you have one uniform background. Now you can go ahead and combine all the background so you have one piece. So I'm going to hold down shift, select all 3 pieces, which makes up my background, right click, merge it. So everything is one. If I turn this off, this is what you see. So you don't really have to worry about patching this portion. If I want to, I can. And now an easy way to do this, to blend this in, is that you want to go ahead and pick your clone stamp tool, and you can increase your brush head a little, and I can hold down my options, make a selection in this area. I can paint it over to basically pick this up, and I can keep repeating that until I sort of blur this area completely in. It looks good enough, so I can go ahead and turn this back on. So we have this nice uniform effect in our background. So you can go ahead and add a shadow effect to create that depth, just like you have on your envelope. So you can double click on your image to bring up your layer style. You can click on your drop shadow, have this nice effect, which also blends in very well with the cast shadow on the pencil, the envelope at the same time. And you can go ahead and click OK. I'm going to zoom out so you can see this. This looks really good. You might even think that this was an image arrangement that was done. You might even think that this was a real shot, putting envelopes, things around, and a photographer really took this. So guys, this brings us to the end of this lesson. So until next time, guys, be safe. Bye.